We're going to meet Jelmer Evers now, who is a teacher from a school called UniC in Utrecht in the Netherlands, who's one of the keynote speakers at TNC2014. And Jelmer, you've been talking about the future of education and the use of technology in education, secondary education more specifically. Why do we actually need to have technology in secondary education, in your opinion?
Well, several reasons, I think. The first is that we use technology in our work, so you need to learn about it. And there's not a lot of places that they actually do learn about technology. There's the assumption that children are digital natives, which I think is a myth, and they need like technological skills, but also like literacy skills, digital literacy skills to actually be more employable. But also to develop, for example, personal learning environment for themselves.
Okay. And what would you say are the challenges that you face in using technology in education? For example, to do with the actual infrastructure and the technology itself?
Well, it's always a struggle, I think, because of the different roles that everybody has. So you have a network administrator who's more for everything needs to be secure, and we want everything to be open because our kids need to also learn in an open space, and the internet and networks need to be open in that way, so we can use the information that is there. And you also need to learn to play outside, so you also need to play in an open environment. So that's a bit of a struggle usually. Access to learning materials. You need to log in loads of different systems, data that's not connected. That takes up a lot of my time. So I think we're in the infancy right now of what's actually possible. So if it can be more seamless, I really encourage that.
And in your talk, you also gave examples of companies, for example, bringing technology to schools, but then with certain assumptions or preconceptions or perhaps a sort of rather closed idea about how it might work that you also find a challenge, I think.
Yeah, it's you call it a technology push. So they think, well, just the device is good. Just use an iPad and then everything will be okay. Without thinking of the pedagogical context, the context of the school. Do we actually need it? What kind of problem is this a solution for? So I would rather first ask those kind of questions and then look for maybe a technological solution. And sometimes it's the other way around, and that leads to waste of money, resources. People get frustrated, they don't want to use technology anymore, and then we're back a couple of years also where you started. So I think that's all avoidable.
Are you able to give us some examples of good usage at the moment?
Yeah, there's lots of exciting stuff going on. For example, like flipping classroom using video instruction. So you tape your instruction, so you have more time to guide the groups, and the groups can do more differentiated things. 3D printing, programming, use of Web 2.0 tools, social bookmarking. So you have this palette of tools that you can use, which really broaden your range as an educator as well. So I think every educator should at least look at all the possibilities that are there.
Okay. And is there actually much collaboration between schools themselves or educationalists to try and develop the best use of the technologies in education and the thinking about the best way to do it?
Not enough. I think if you look at all the systems that are doing it, some in Canada, for example, also in California, some counties that are actually doing that. They have these learning circles of schools, learning network of schools and teachers, and it's really like most of the authority is there within the schools and from the teachers themselves. And that really works. So then everybody gets enthusiastic, they have ownership and research and developments and looking at new ways of learning from a student and a teacher perspective. Then people start to use technology. So that is a solution for so many problems, I think, in education, not just technology, but also other problems we're facing as well.
Mm. Now, of course, education is one of the words in the title NREN, National Research and Education Network, which is what our community is all about. So how do you see the NREN's the e-infrastructure organizations, actually helping the education community to achieve a better use of technology in education?
Well, I think there's lots of experience with networking, not just networking, but also like combining a community, making a community. That's something we can learn from in the educational community. That's like the institutions themselves, secondary schools, and also higher education, also primary education probably. But also something like Ederoam. It's also available for secondary education, but I didn't know that, and lots of people don't know that. Well, it's actually all the things that I described in my talk. It would be really nice to have all this ubiquitous access and easy access, and the authentication is already done for you. So it's those kind of things. There's way more possibilities out there, and it would be nice, I think, if from a secondary point of view, if the NRENs would also be more involved with secondary education.
So maybe you can invite NREN representatives along into your schools?
Yeah, but it's
meetings?
already done, but it's not good enough yet. So I think there are way more possibilities that we haven't used yet, yeah.
Well, hopefully we can explore those together in the near future.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.